Greetings, chemistry class. Welcome to your year 2021 school year. Great to have you in class. So this period, I'm just going to take some time to introduce myself, talk a bit about the class so that you can familiarize yourself with how this class will run, and then you'll have a couple homework assignments which I'll address. But let's get started with the basic introduction. So my name is Mr. Dressler. I teach both chemistry and AP chemistry here at Platteville High School. This is my second year teaching. Here I have taught in the past 5 years at Brown Deer High School in the Milwaukee area and 2 years in Fairfield, California in the San Francisco area. But I'm originally from Platteville. I graduated from UW-Platteville, grew up in Platteville, Wisconsin, so I'm from the area, and it's great to be back. My family, I'm the youngest of four. In this picture, my sister wasn't here this day, but these are a couple of my brothers and my mom and dad. Like I said, I'm the youngest of four. My dad and mom are both retired, but they were a UPS driver and an ophthalmologist assistant. So this is me. Personally, I like sports. I like Wisconsin sports, like the Packers, the Brewers, the Badgers, the Bucks. So I'm enjoying the Bucks in the playoffs now and enjoying watching that. Hopefully they keep doing good. I played in high school football for a couple years and then cross country and did wrestling. Like I said, I'm from Platteville and glad to be back. Other hobbies, I like reading, biking, traveling, hiking a lot, visiting with friends and family. So in the summer I like to take usually a trip abroad. Here I biked around Europe, and here I was biking around Thailand or Africa. So I've done a lot of traveling and biking in different places. This summer I got the pleasure of just biking around Dubuque, Iowa, where I live. So not as exciting as the past, but hopefully we can get back there in the future. Okay, so if you'd like to ask me about that, please do. I love music as my other passion besides biking and chemistry. These are a lot of the musicians that I like, kind of country folk musicians like Neil Young, Tyler Childers, Joseph Huber, Wilco, and John Prine. So I really like these artists, and I play guitar in my free time. So that's me personally. Professionally, I like chemistry. So I love teaching chemistry. I majored in broadfield science with an emphasis in chemistry education, like I said, from UW-Platteville. Why did I go into teaching? Because I love science, but I also love sharing my passion of science with my students. So I think the biggest thing that propels me to keep learning and keep studying is just a passion for curiosity. And that came from a quote from Einstein said the same thing. He said he had no special talents, even though he was an incredibly bright individual. He was really driven by his passion for curiosity and understanding the world around him. So that's what I hopefully can instill in you and maybe guide you in a path towards finding that same passion for answering some tough questions this year. Okay, so that's me. I want to hear about you as well. So usually I have you do this on note cards. This year, again, with everything going on, some of you being virtual, some of you being in person, I'm going to have you fill out all of this information on a Schoology assignment. So when you go to Schoology, okay, and I'm going to give you a more of a tour later on, but in your Schoology chemistry period, under week 1, okay, today is September 3rd, you're going to fill out this personal introduction. So if you click on this personal introduction, okay, there's going to be something here that you can click on. Under this personal introduction, you click on the Google Doc, and it's going to open it up, and this should have created a copy for you, and you just fill this in. Okay, so a little bit about you, what period you're in chemistry, and then your favorite person, hero, someone you look up to, your place of birth, what do you want to be when you grow up, your favorite subject, hobby, your special interest, and then more about this class. Why are you taking the class? What do you want to gain from this class? How you learn best, and your goal for both the end of the semester and the end of the year. If you could, it would be great if you could attach a photo of you that clearly shows your face so that I can start putting names with faces, okay, up-to-date faces. So that would be great. If you don't have a photo or don't feel comfortable uploading a photo on this, that's totally fine, but it would be great if I could learn a little bit more about you from this assignment. So that's your first assignment found on Schoology. Okay, so after that, for this class, you're going to want a notebook, because a lot of the problems, just like a math class, need to be solved handwriting. Okay, so you're not going to want to set these all up and do all of these assignments on a Google Doc. I think it's easiest to do math problems with a pen and paper. Okay, and in the front of that notebook, every unit you're going to dedicate a couple pages to warm-ups. So typically, when you come to class or you start a class via watching this video, you're going to have a warm-up question to get your mind refreshed on what you learned the previous class period, or maybe a few periods before that. So I like to just constantly ask old questions so that you can put those problem-solving skills into your long-term memory, and also start class ready and remembering where we left off. Okay, so always dedicate a few pages at the start of each unit in your notebook to your warm-ups, and you'll turn these warm-ups in by taking a picture of them at the end of the unit, or by turning them into me in person at the end of a unit when we're ready for a unit test. Okay, so today there's not going to be too much of a warm-up, but we can still practice where it goes. So in your notebook, write Unit 1 and then today's date. So today's date would be 9/3/20. Okay? Now, the problem I'm going to try to have you solve is this. And maybe you've done it before, maybe you haven't, but I want you to put 9 dots on your paper like this. You don't really need the box around it. Okay? You just need these 9 dots. And your job is to try to connect all of these 9 dots with no more than 4 straight lines that are connected without lifting up your pencil. Okay? So I don't want you to lift up your pencil. So you can't, here would be an example. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that wouldn't work because I didn't connect all the dots. So that's obviously not it. Okay. Why don't you pause the video and try to solve for a few minutes. All right. If you haven't got it, I'll give you one clue. Think outside the box. And that's what you have to do in science to solve a lot of real-world problems. So if you want to, pause it again and try to solve this puzzle. All right. All right. If you couldn't get it, here is the solution. So watch how I do it. There's line, hopefully. All right, so watch carefully how I solve this. So there's the first line. Again, I'm not lifting up my pencil. Line 2, line 3, line 4. All right, you could obviously have that oriented whichever way. But notice I thought outside the box here. I'm sure a lot of you kind of drew these maybe lines around it and thought there's no way I can go around that. Okay, you put these imaginary walls that you thought you couldn't go outside. Okay, but remember, when you're solving problems, there shouldn't be any walls that you put up. Okay, anything goes to solve problems if you're working in the real world. How can you get from point A to point B? Okay, it doesn't matter if there's, again, this wall there. You can always go over it. All right, so what I want you to do this year is to get creative in the way that you solve problems. Okay? Assignment number 2 is to just read through the syllabus and ask any questions or bring any questions that you have for tomorrow, or email me, or do whatever. Okay, I'll go over this in more detail tomorrow when I'm talking about lab safety, but for now just kind of familiarize yourself with the basic syllabus. And you can access this syllabus both on Schoology and on my website, which I'll talk about in a little while. Okay, so this goes over what this class is, grading practices, and things like that. But as we know, this year is going to be different than any other year you've gone to school. So these grading practices and how we do things is going to be fluid. And I'm going to figure out what works best for both you and me as the year goes on. So it's not going to be exactly, this class is not going to run exactly how we see this class work. Okay? All right. But you still should be familiar with basics of why you're here and things you should know about this class. So this is a college preparatory class, so hopefully your goal is to go to college. This is not a college class, but this will get you prepared and ready for those students wanting to go to college someday. So there will be a lot of applications in this class requiring a solid math background. So hopefully you have a good understanding of algebra, either algebra A and B, I think we have, or a full year of just algebra. Okay, so that's going to be the main type of math that we use in this class. Please bring the proper equipment that you'll need to be successful, whether that be to class or to your working area for your virtual days. Okay, and that's going to include, like I said, your notebook, your homework, a paper and a pencil, and a scientific calculator. And if you don't know if it's scientific, you could always ask me, email me maybe a picture of it, or just ask me in class, or you could always look it up as well. Okay. When you come into the classroom, please be ready to get to work, okay? Whether it be, again, virtual class or in person, okay? So we don't have nearly as much time as we regularly would do, so we need to make our time together very valuable as possible, okay? So expect to have, I try to have a lot of your homework done in class, but again, a lot of this is going to be done virtual, so try to do a little bit every day. Okay, I'm not going to, hopefully, you're not working for hours, and please don't be on chemistry, but a little bit every day is where you're going to make the most growth. Okay, and expect actual class learning to last from the beginning to the end. Okay, so try not to get distracted whether you're watching a video or in class. Just try to stay focused and stay on task during all of our time together. Okay. For your labs, we'll see how those work and how we do those, and whether we're virtual or in person. So that's kind of to be worked on. So we'll talk about labs more as the year goes on, and expect to make up any missing or late work in a timely fashion. Okay. So if you missed anything, or you were absent or sick or anything, okay, or were unable to complete the homework, please just talk to me about turning it in, and please don't wait more than a couple days, okay, without kind of squaring up how to get that homework done and turned in. Get help when you need it, so I'm always available before or after school, and anytime that I don't have a regular class in here, I'm available. Okay, so that could be my prep, lunchtime, or Wednesdays. Okay, if you have any questions, please ask. Okay, I also have a website. Primarily, you can just use Schoology. Okay, so you go to your course, and here's going to be the information that you're working with. Okay, my website also has some other information on it. Okay, it doesn't look like I can access it yet on Schoology, but if I click this arrow here, it'll take me to my website. Okay, so this just gives a little more information about me, and under the chemistry tab, we have some helpful resources, and we have semester 1. This will kind of have a daily agenda as well. Last year, This is last year's daily agenda, so yours will eventually look like this as the year goes on. Okay, but if this is too much and you just want to use Schoology, that's fine as well. But you also have some extra materials here if you want to use it. Okay. All right. So your last homework assignment. Okay, remember, fill out the sheet about yourself. Read through the syllabus, kind of flip through that. And then read this article on why do I have to study chemistry. And I want you thinking of 5 questions, excuse me, on things that you are curious about. Okay, so this goes over kind of a student going through a typical day and seeing how does chemistry affect them daily. Okay. For example, okay, they might be thinking about things like, why is the sky blue? Okay. Why does this fried egg, it says here, I wonder why fried eggs taste so much better than a raw egg. So these are just typical questions that you may have and maybe you've thought of before, but a lot of them can be answered by studying and understanding chemistry better. Okay? You can access this again on Schoology under, again, today's date, September 3rd. You have your I wonder statements. Okay, so here's the article, and then you're going to do a discussion, so you're going to put comments where you have 5 statements. And once you do those, you should have access to your other students, the other students' comments. So maybe you could look at what your peers said, and that could maybe hopefully instill some more curiosity in you. Okay, so that's going to be where we start tomorrow on why we study chemistry. Okay, all right. So today's goal was getting a start to our classroom procedure, and then starting to look at reasons why we should study chemistry. Next, we're going to start getting into lab safety and what to do in case of an emergency. Okay, but for now, hopefully I want to familiarize yourself with me. I want to become more familiar with you, and I want you to start thinking about why you're in this class. So here's my schedule, and this is again available on my website, or I have it posted in different places. I know these times aren't correct, and I still need to get comfortable, and we all need to get comfortable with the times, how school will function when it is in person. So I'll change those, but periods 1 through 3 I do have chemistry, so period 4 I have a prep. Period 5 is pride for everyone, and then again after lunch I have chemistry and AP chemistry and chemistry. Okay, so I'll talk about why we study chemistry next time. Okay, but for now I want you to complete those assignments and start thinking about what questions you would like answered throughout the year. Okay, please email if you have any questions.